Years ago, I spent Halloween night with a firefighter dressed as a rock star. An improbable, some might say utterly ridiculous, beginning to the greatest adventure of my life. My wingmen for the night, a gay couple dressed as a pirate and a Muppet, had no such difficulty recognizing the uncommonness of our connection. They assured us, more accurately demanded, that we would someday have beautiful red-headed babies. You are kind, you are compassionate, you are intelligent, you are an absolute goofball. You hold together the disparate identities of a rugged firefighter, an ever-curious bookworm, a lovable softie, and a stylish pocket square enthusiast in a package that is at once adorable and engaging. I promise to work by your side and dream in your arms. I promise to celebrate with you when Notre Dame wins and blame Brian Kelly for everything when they lose. I neither promise nor pretend that our lives will be perfect, but I do promise that I will face every hardship and challenge by your side. Just as you are to me, I promise to be your best friend, your safe place, your rock, and your teammate, no matter what this crazy world throws at us. Most of all, I promise that I will always choose you. No matter what happens, 1,000 times over, in 1,000 different lifetimes, and every day for the rest of our lives, I choose you.
You know, I had life pretty much figured out. I really did. Until 8 years ago, on that fateful night in Halloween. Who knew how fateful it would be? Danny did a wonderful job telling our story and might have stole a little bit of my thunder. So I'm gonna have to wing it a little bit here. And this wedding is more than worth it in this weekend. Like we talked about in Nelson, New Zealand, a year and a half ago, about what we wanted and who we wanted to spend this weekend with. But ultimately, each other. We've already proven that we can handle adversity. Whatever adversity has to throw us, I know I have a partner. I know I have someone that we can handle it together. If I've been taught anything in our relationship, sometimes you already used the word, but you do need a teammate to handle adversity. Even if you feel like it's back to back against the world, I promise to always have yellow Gatorade for you, even though it's horrible. Every time you are sick, because that is what makes you feel better. I promise to snuggle you, even though you are independent, sexy, and intimidating. I got that right, see? In the immortal words of the Gaslight Anthem, I'll love you forever if I ever love at all.
Well, one of the greatest gifts a man can have is a daughter, and I've got 3 of them, so I'm luckier than most.
Oh, God.
You know, when love calls, follow. Although its ways may be hard and steep. And when love beckons, follow, because true love is probably the greatest experience that humankind can have.
When I decided to leave for law school and loaded up my 10-year-old Toyota Corolla for a road trip to Syracuse, John was the first person that raised his hand and said, "I'm your co-pilot." Danny, I know you have plenty of big brothers already looking after you, but they're not Italian, And I don't know people who know people like I know people. You know what I mean? And unfortunately for you, your sister married me, and you married John, so you are really stuck with me now. And John, if you take nothing else away from my advice tonight, know this one thing about being married to a Shadden. If at first you don't succeed, try doing it the way your wife told you in the first place.
That's right.
It's destined to go much better. Let's all raise our glasses to Danny and John. Years of happiness and amazing stories.
And there's always the added benefit that those of us who are close to Danny will never need an encyclopedia again. They drive each other to reach for their goals, and they push each other up mountains. They listen to each other, even when they're too stubborn to listen to the rest of us. They love and care for each other, and when they're together, it's obvious by the look in their eyes that they're exactly where they're meant to be.
Once while visiting us, she stayed up all night making an amazing Halloween cake for no reason other than my kids got excited when she said she liked to decorate cakes. So during the next few years, you guys are going to have rough patches where things are going to be tough. And I just want you to remember, when things get really hard, it's never going to be as hard as planning a wedding in a different country in the middle of a pandemic. Cheers.
When I first started practicing law and she was in high school, we would meet after work for rock climbing, or the occasional late-night baking fest, one involving a batch of failed cake pops that ended up mostly on the floor and on the dog, and eaten by the dog. The phrase, "taste the rainbow," is so applicable to life in many instances. Sorry, inside joke from Amsterdam. But as much as I loved our adventures, how much better they've become with my sister, leaving room for you and Enzio to marinate, while Danny and I exhaust her endless supply of energy. I'm so happy for you both, the love that you share, and for the adventures ahead. I take my job as a sister and bridesmaid seriously. I believe in your commitment to each other and promise to support you both, individually and as a couple, in any way that I can. Life is boring for those who ride the merry-go-round. I want to ride the roller coaster. It is full of thrills. I know that you'll enjoy the ride, no matter what. Cheers to two of my best friends. We love you both. To Danny and John.